Hi, I'm Kim Wilson,
And I'm Natasha Marchewka.
and this is Speechless.
Speechless. Speechless.
Welcome to our behind-the-scenes take on real life in VO, where we share our stories, our resources, and our unsolicited opinions. Today, I got to meet my spirit animal. Her name is Joey Schaljo, and I adore her. We are like
Sisters
the
from
same
another
brain.
mister. Yeah.
what Mr. Sister, whatever
Sisters
that
from
thing
another
is.
mister. Mhm.
Whatever that is, I adore her, and I can't wait to share with our audience.
Yeah. Joey is a voice actor extraordinaire, and has started in, she's really into live announce and doing for sporting events. She is the live announcer for the New York Marathon and has been for years and years and years.
So cool.
Yeah, so cool. And she has all these other talents, one of which is financial savvy. And so Kim really, I knew Kim needed to meet her. And she's also a horticulturalist. And well, so is Kim. So they had this amazing connection. But today we talk about some basics in terms of what freelance talent, voice actors, and freelancers need to think about in terms of their spending, what they need to spend on either in the beginning or even ongoingly.
Kind of what's
Both
worth it, what's not,
right. And
saving
it's
tips.
totally. And we're going to bring Joey back, but you'll need to watch this show for sure because there's so much wisdom. Okay, see you in a bit. Cheers.
Oh my God, what does your mug
Did
say?
you bring? What is that?
Don't you dare settle for fine.
Good.
It's a quote from Ted Lasso, which is quickly been becoming my favorite show of all
It's a
time.
great show. It's a great show.
So yeah, I really connected with that moment when Roy was like, "Don't you dare settle for fine."
Nice. What's
He's an
in the
awesome
mug?
character.
So I have hot apple cider and Fireball.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Cheers. I love that.
That's awesome. Kim?
What a great combo.
Yeah.
So Natasha sent me some jasmine pearl tea. So I took the jasmine pearl tea and I made jasmine and gin with a little maple syrup and lemon.
Nice.
And it's
Wow.
the fragrantest.
And does it taste good?
It does.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, well, today I couldn't be more boring. I don't know. Decaf Earl Grayer with almond milk and the
Wah, wah.
yeah. Well, everybody, I have invited one of my favorite people here, Joey Schaljo, because Kim keeps talking about money and she's
Money.
she's very educated about money. And then I'll say, well, Joey loves this and Joey knows this. And Joey Schaljo is extremely educated about money. I think you said your favorite topic is retirement or something.
Yeah, I could talk about retirement funds all day long. I love doing it.
I mean, why aren't we best friends, Joey? Why?
Well, you will be now.
We are now.
Retirement, I heard today actually is kind of like it's a made up thing, like Valentine's Day, in that it's a North American idea that people retire, and that in other countries, like in Africa, there's no such thing as retirement. And I was talking about that with someone today about how it's a concept that's sort of like been made up. It didn't, we weren't foraging and then we're like, I think I'm going to retire.
Families take care of families. And as the American culture is more like we kind of shoot out from the nuclear family, maybe. I don't know. I'm making it up.
Or somebody just saw like, their grandma or grandpa and was like, I don't think I want to work until I die.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
so let's call it a thing and let's make people feel really bad about themselves that they're not retiring. But anyway, okay, I'm at a disadvantage because I know much less about money than you guys. So please, both of you answer. Maybe you have different answers for the questions. We did prepare Joey with some questions, but alas, the first question is, how much money should I invest in my freelance business? How much money should I invest in my freelance business? Now, I suppose that depends
Yeah,
It depends on a lot
let's
of things.
narrow that out. Let's narrow that down. Like, what are the voiceover essentials when starting out? Like the voiceover essentials that you need to purchase when starting out.
So, I mean, yeah, you can go pretty low tech, low price point when you're first starting out. My general answer is spend what you can afford to not miss. So if
great
you're going
answer.
if you're going to spend $500 on a microphone, but it's going to hurt, don't. You know, when you're first starting out, like this shouldn't be a painful financial process. No one should go into debt trying to start or
Agreed.
fund their voiceover business. So
Agreed.
if you save your pennies and you can spend $300 on a microphone, 500, whatever, but you're not going to feel it, then yeah, that's, I think, the way to go forward personally.
I love that. I want to ask you, Kim, your answer too, but we do have to go to see sponsors. Before we do that, I wanted to say plug GVAA, the Global Voice Acting Academy, because the owner, David Rosenthal, used to be a financial planner, and he'll take 15 minutes with you to talk over if you want to join or not. And we'll say, if you can't afford it, this isn't your time. So he's turned away a lot of students because people want to jump in, but financially need to be ready. Okay, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors and be right back with more information. Bye. POZOTRON is the technology busy voice talent need. It literally cut our editing time in half.
POZOTRON overlays your script to your voiceover to ensure script accuracy. In moments, you'll discover pickups or a perfect read. Upload your script, upload your audio, and POZOTRON does the rest.
For audiobook proofing, this is a must. For e-learning and long-form narration, even one page of script, this process couldn't be easier. POZOTRON ensures your narration is word perfect, so you can focus on your performance and delivery.
Check out posotron.com or email hello@posotron.com for a free product demo. VoiceActor.com is the fastest way to have your website up and running right now.
Simple and fast.
It's the do-it-yourself website builder for voice talent.
No coding.
And you can edit your own content.
The plug-and-play website templates have everything a voice actor needs to insert demos, videos, testimonials, bios, and much more.
It's a no-brainer.
Websites work on any device.
And you can use your own domain name.
Go to voiceactor.com for more information.
VoiceActor.com, powered by Voice Actor websites. What I love what you said, Joey, was don't go into debt. And it's universal, I think. Don't go into debt. Don't go into debt.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Don't go into debt. That's my answer.
And if you can, be an aggressive saver. That's I would put myself in that category.
That's going to
I'm
be
an
another
aggressive-
show. That's
Yeah.
going to be another show because
Yeah, well,
I know you can
Yeah,
ton of tips.
first you have to have your emergency fund, and then you can
Right.
be an aggressive
Right,
saver.
Kim. That's
And
right, Kim.
And where are you going to save it? Natasha, where are you going to save?
Oh, in that high yield interest account?
Yeah.
Okay, Kim's teaching me.
Or a money market. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's FDIC insured.
Yeah,
okay.
baby.
Okay, girls.
I know.
Okay. The question was, how much money should I invest in my freelance business? So we have startups and we have ongoing. So is the answer the same still, gals? Is it
never go in debt? That's my answer across the board.
I would agree with that, but I do think it depends on where you are in your career. So if your voiceover business is your side hustle, then I would say invest what you won't feel is basically, and that can be a lot, that can be a little. So there's no exact dollar amount. If now you're to the point where voiceover is your full-time job and this is your business, you know, across the board, businesses tend to reinvest about 20 to 30% of their profit back into their business. So that number, that percentage can kind of shift as you continue to grow from dabbling to part-time, you know, to full-time.
As you find success, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And to be clear, I do think for the people that don't want to spend money, it's important to keep coaching. It's important to upgrade some things in your studio. It's important to spend on certain marketing, strategic marketing things. And a lot of stuff costs money. So to the other people who like to spend a lot of money, I might be in that category. Start rounding up. What are you spending on as an annual membership all the time? Or what are you, those social media scheduling apps? How many have you got now?
Yeah.
So
And
find that
I
middle
I
ground.
think you also make a good point that when you're first starting out, what you're spending your money on is important. So if you're first starting out, spending it on education and training is a lot more important than spending it on an invoicing software or something that you're not going to really need, or even like a social media scheduling thing. Like that's great, but let's build that foundation. So yeah, the things, and then as you're a full-time talent, yes, you always continue to look at classes and coaching, but that's a much smaller percentage of what you're spending your money on as the business grows. So I think what you're spending your money on changes too as you go through.
Good point. Good point. Okay. So I heard a famous agent when I was in this workshop tell us all, guys, don't be a lifelong student. For God's sake, don't spend your whole life coaching. What are your guys' thoughts on being a lifelong student of coaching in this industry?
Even Michael Jordan had a coach, right? Like I think I understand his point. What I think his or her point is at some point you gotta like go for it, right? You can't just say I need to keep coaching, and never actually do the thing, never actually audition, never actually go for it.
Because that's not about being a voiceover, right? That's about
Right.
your fear of taking the next step, right?
But even a seasoned professional, right? You slip into bad habits. You need to learn a new technique. You need to sharpen. You've plateaued. Absolutely. I mean, that's why I know you may use a lot of sports metaphors, but how many times did Tiger Woods get a new coach and completely rebuild his swing throughout his decades of time on tour? So
I have no idea.
Yeah. The answer is I have no idea.
But a lot, apparently.
Or just, at least one or two times. So yeah, I think even the best people need someone who can coach them at their level and help them fine tune stuff. So I think you're always a student, but not always a perpetual student.
And let this be a lesson to all of you who think you know how to do voiceover. So if you've been in radio for 20 years or 30 years, or you've been in theater, or you've been a voiceover professional for 20 years or something, the reason Tiger Woods keeps coaching is to take it to the next level. If voiceover is competitive, we all know that, but it's more and more competitive every day because there's a lot of new people, but guess what? There's a lot of good new people too, who were actors or who just happen to have a really good skill. You need to keep coaching within reason. Like you say, Joy, someone that meets you where you are and can take you to the next level. Maybe you can't go to a next level. That's fine. That's another
just
thing.
Stay sharp, right? Like if you're the Michael Jordan of voiceover, right? Like you want to keep.
How would that be?
Booking, I would like Karin and Maria, but
right, right.
But yeah, but if you want to stay at that level, then you need someone that keeps that blade sharp. So I think some other important things for people from a financial aspect when they're first starting their business is to first get an EIN number. This way you aren't sending your social security number to a bunch of strangers that you're working for. And it kind of gives you a nice little protection buffer in that way. And then to also make sure, use that EIN number to then set up a separate checking and savings account for your business. So to keep those finances from being intertwined, it makes it really nice to have your own business checking and savings account. I think those are the two big things that people don't do early enough, or they don't think about it when they're first starting, but it literally costs nothing to do either of those things. Go on irs.gov and get an EIN number and like that.
I think the other note to that would be you don't have to be an LLC or an S Corp to get an EIN.
You don't need it. Nope. You can be a sole proprietor. You can be anybody. The IRS is happy to track your income for you.
Right?
How nice of them.
I know.
Generous spirit.
Yeah. So get that EIN number so you're not sending your social security number to, total strangers halfway across the country or
I
world.
wish
We'll leave the
I
link.
knew
Yeah.
that. Yeah. How do you know return on investment, which platforms you should pay for? I think
You mean like
generally,
casting?
I think that's what I'm getting at. Online casting platforms, people are worried because they cost a lot. Well, return on investment. How do you know where you should spend your money, Joey? How do you determine that? And Kim,
Mm, I think
I
that's a
mean,
hard question.
Yeah, I think you can do your best to research and ask other talent where they're seeing success and hoping for the best. But I think it also depends on, what you're after in your career. So if you're brand new and you just need exposure to auditions, then an online casting site's a great place. You're going to get plenty of auditions, whether you book them or not, I don't know. But, if it depends on what your need is. If you need a specific type of audition or commercial, you want to work on animation or something like that, then there are other avenues for you to pursue. Maybe you make sure that you're following the latest trends and you join, I don't know, I'm not a gamer, Twitch, that's a thing, right? um, so I
Tiger
think
Woods.
Tiger Woods, right? Yeah. So I think it depends. Or if you're an audiobook narrator, and make sure you have a subscription to Audible so that you're hearing what other narrators are doing. It's important to stay up on that. But yeah, it's a good point. Like it's hard to know where you're going to see the return on your investment before you've actually done anything or know your instrument well enough to know what you're good for. So if you're like a union animation actor, online casting sites are not where you should go, right? Because you're not going to see a lot there.
That's right.
Is there something else, that you should spend that money on to target what you're going after and what you're best at?
Yes.
Joey,
do your research.
Do your research. Thank you for that. Joey, what was your journey when you first started out in terms of like, what did you purchase right away? What did you wait?
Yeah.
Well, that was like 50 years ago. So
She's not
just
that
kidding.
old.
I'm just kidding.
Dang.
Is it hot in here?
So my journey is like everyone's is unique, and mine particular one has to be really hard to replicate.
Oh my God, it's so circuitous. Like it's the most circuitous I've ever. Okay, sorry.
So I got an MFA in acting, and
An MFA in acting, and then
I was auditioning for anything and everything, and I got my first little taste of success was live announce. And that led to a friend of mine asking me to do a voiceover job. He was working on a political campaign, and they needed somebody to do like unofficially related stuff, like political attack ads. And so they were like, hey, you speak into a microphone and people like it. Would you record these things? And so I did it. And their official like communications director heard it and was like, oh, could she do our real stuff? And so then they hired me to do like the actual political campaign stuff. And that was my first voiceover job. And I remember just being like, wow, this was really fun. And I'm a tall lady. It doesn't matter how tall I am to get this job. So
right.
maybe I should do more of this. And so I just Googled voiceover class in New York City, and there happened to be a voiceover studio across the street from where I lived. So I was like,
stop.
There, I'll take that class. That's where I'll go.
Was it Edge Studio?
It was Edge, yeah.
Oh,
no
way.
Right across the street. Wow.
So I started, took like their investigate voiceover class. I started training there, and one day they called me and said, hi, when you come in for coaching and classes, you're always on time and you seem nice and you conduct yourself in a professional way. We have a job opening. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So in 2009, I became the head of the education and training department at Edge. So what was crazy is I feel like I got my MFA in voiceover working in that environment. So not only did I learn about the performance aspect side of it, I also learned the engineering side of it because they're a production studio as well. And what was great is the owner, David Goldberg, gave us free access to the studios. So I would work all day. And then at the end of the workday, when we were done with business, I could go into one of our booths and record auditions and jobs and stuff like that. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so I mean, I feel like I kind of like cheated a little bit because my first home
Right.
studio was a professional recording studio.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, I want them to know your other degree.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What's your other
so
degree?
my undergrad degree is in horticulture. I'm a plant lady.
Horticulture.
I'm a crazy plant lady.
Yeah, Kim is too.
No, Kim,
Yes.
what's going on?
Kim's like a
where have
master
you
gardener.
been?
Yeah,
Where
I
have you
have
been?
48 houseplants, Kim.
I don't
And she lives in an apartment.
I live in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah.
And then the financial piece, Joey, where did that come? Just from who you are?
That's just so there was a moment where my dad, this is as he tells it, he was approaching his 40s and he'd spent his entire adult life basically raising kids because I have older sisters. And he said, your mom and I hadn't really saved a whole lot for retirement. And I saw us approaching retirement in the next 20 years or so. And I looked at you, and here you are in 2nd grade, and you have nothing but time. You have so much time. And so he had to tell me about like the power of compound interest.
Oh my gosh.
So I can remember like my dad sitting down with me and talking about the power of compound interest and investing and retirement in the 2nd grade. And so as I started to save for college, we opened a mutual fund account. And so as I made money babysitting and doing whatever, I would put money into the mutual account and then mutual fund. And then it was my job every weekend when we got the paper. This was before the internet. And so I had to look up in the business section the mutual funds that I had invested in. And then we had an Excel spreadsheet and I had to update the share price. And so I could see how my money was growing. And then every quarter when we would get the statements, and we always reinvested the dividends, so my number of shares would also increase. So I saw that, the money that I put in as a 3rd grader, by the time I was a senior in high school, had really grown a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And so that is
exciting. What a good dad.
I know,
right?
So dad,
Good
move.
Yeah. So many people don't have that.
Yeah, I know. I feel really lucky. And so that also just kind of, started an interest in personal finance. And now like the bug fully bit. I listen to podcasts, I read books, I follow financial influencers on Instagram.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Like all
hey, gals.
About Tori Dunlop.
I don't know Tori Dunlop. I
have to love her.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, sorry. Go, Natasha.
We need a word from our sponsor still. Two are on the docket, but when we come back, we're going to give you some aggressive savings tips. I want to hear maybe the craziest one, or maybe just a few tips. I think we could all give some and see if we can outdo each other in crazy savings. Kim's like, what? What's she talking about? Okay, we'll talk about when we come back.
Okay.
Hi there, I'm Danny States. I'm the founder of VOICEOVERVIEW, and I just want to invite you to give us a try. We offer a 30-day free trial. We are the business tracking and management system designed by voice actors for voice actors. It's a great platform for you to manage and control your voiceover business.
Voice talent need quiet.
For us, quiet comes in the form of a STUDIOBRICKS booth.
Now, we've recorded in closets, and nothing against closets, but with families and the need to raise our game, we both independently bought a STUDIOBRICKS.
I love my booth because when clients see it on Zoom, they know I'm the real deal, but also I feel more professional in it.
And I like STUDIOBRICKS because it's whisper quiet in my noisy neighborhood, and also is gorgeous.
Right? I have a STUDIOBRICKS 1.
And I have the voiceover edition.
I want that.
Head over to STUDIOBRICKS.com.
World-class sound isolation booths, high-quality materials, less environmental burden. So I know Joey is frugal, and she's excellent with her money. She is
I see you.
an aggressive saver.
Yeah.
My husband is also an aggressive saver. So coupons have always, for 30 years, We're loving coupons. The moment we've moved across the country a few times and crossed to different countries. So we drove and moved from Halifax, Nova Scotia to California, I don't know, 6,000 miles. What's the first thing he does? He gets the flyers that were waiting at the apartment and he cuts out the coupons. And I'm like, I have 2 little kids. I am not going to pay attention to the coupons right now while we're moving to another country. But that's his passion. He loves the flyers and loves those coupons.
Will he shop and use them?
Occasionally he does.
To you.
Generally, he leaves them around and expects me to utilize them. Yeah.
Okay.
What you
Okay.
got? What do you have, girls, for aggressive saving or lack of spending or, that kind of thing?
Okay. Joey, do you want to go first? And I'll hop on.
Sure. So,
If you don't want to, that's okay.
No.
Okay.
So I would say the biggest space where I save a lot of money is in food. So a lot of people, especially in New York, a lot of people are takeout and delivery kind of people. And I never get anything delivered, ever, never. I walk and pick it up all the time. So immediately delivery fees are removed.
What about Amazon?
Yes, I do Amazon.
Okay, so food wise.
Food wise. And then I'm
Okay.
also a meal prepper for people who know what that is.
On the weekends. I know
Yes,
my
we do.
Sundays.
So I'm not tempted or to get takeout or whatever. I make a big batch, like just this weekend I made vegan. I'm vegan-ish. I identify as vegan-ish. So I made vegan shepherd's pie and some stuffed acorn squash, and it's like all in my refrigerator and freezer,
Love
good
it.
for the next 2 weeks.
So restaurants aren't getting your money.
So, but they do. I treat myself. I'm frugal,
Okay.
but I'm not cheap, as my friends would say.
I know what you
No,
mean.
I love a good food experience.
I mean, we can't
so-
take our money with me when we die.
Right,
So
exactly,
you gotta enjoy
exactly.
it as you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm all about, cracking some eggs to have fun in your nest egg there. But
Some eggs. I was like, where's she going? Scrambled. What is she saying?
but to me, it's worth it to like go have a fine dining experience and feel great about spending that, whatever, $150, $200 and not lose $22 every day to
Yes.
the takeout place around the corner.
Mhm.
So that's
Shame. I feel
it's a-
shame.
No, there's no shame. We gotta
shift.
get rid of that.
Okay.
but I'm not much of a couponer because I feel like they get you to buy things you wouldn't normally buy. So I'm never one that's like, look how much money I saved spending money, right? Like that's never something that I will. Yeah.
But I have to say, being from Canada, we don't have nearly the savings you have here at the drugstores. So CVS, here's $10, here's $5. You just spent this. Here's another $25. Here's $10 off. If in Canada, it's like 25 cents, 50 cents. It's not worth it. It's so many deals
yeah.
to be had at CVS. Kim, what's your
So mine's a
secret
little
savings?
different. Mine's a
Mhm.
little different. I approached the answer a little differently from, ways to save.
Mhm.
I make sure, I think as women, we tend to put a ton of money in our checking accounts that doesn't need to be there. So I work really hard to just keep exactly what my expenses are each month, plus $1,000 buffer in case something happens. I also have an emergency fund in my savings account. And then everything else goes into saving or investing, depending what my long and short-term goals are. But I
Wow.
don't keep too much in my checking account. So that's what
Yeah, and you've taught me that. I'm going to make a change. Thank you for that. Well, this was
that's my
exciting.
strategy.
Excellent strategy, I think. And I don't know anything, but Joey was nodding for those listening on
good.
the podcast.
Oh no, I'm with you there, Kim. Like,
Because I think
there's nothing that annoys me more than a bunch of money doing nothing.
Right. It's not working for you.
Get it to work.
This was a great example of fuck it. Let's be awesome now.
Right?
Because
'Cause
we
we've
got
savings
shits to do and savings. Thank you, Joey.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Joey.
Yeah, that's it. Is that
Awesome.
it?
That's it.
Oh my gosh, you guys,
How
this
fun.
is fun.
I know.
Yeah.
This episode of Speechless is brought to you by
Speechless.